Imagine sailing through the Caribbean 300 years ago. You are a merchant captain. Your hold is packed with goods. And behind you, growing larger by the minute, see the dreaded black flag. Your ship is fast, but the pirates are faster. You order full sails, praying to escape. Hours pass, and suddenly, miraculously, the pirate vessel vanishes from sight. Did they give up? Or did they trick you into sailing exactly where they wanted? This is the world of pirate navigation tricks, where survival depended not only on cannons and courage, but on the art of deception at sea. Before we dive deep into these secret methods, I want to quickly say this. If you enjoy these hidden stories from history, consider subscribing, giving this video a like, and telling me in the comments where in the world you're watching from and what time it is right now. It helps more than you can imagine, and I love seeing the community gather from every corner of the globe. Now, let's get back to that ocean chase. For most people, navigation in the age of sail sounds simple. A compass, some maps, and a lot of guesswork. But pirates elevated it into something closer to psychological warfare. They didn't just follow stars or read the winds. They weaponized knowledge of the sea to confuse, mislead, and outmaneuver their pursuers. To chase a pirate was like playing chess on an endless blue board, except the pieces could vanish in a storm or appear suddenly from behind an island. One of the most cunning tricks involved the use of false routes. Pirates knew merchant captains relied on predictable shipping lanes, and so they sometimes staged what looked like a desperate escape in one direction, only to veer sharply at nightfall, toward hidden channels or reefs. To the pursuers, it seemed the pirates had simply melted into thin air. But in truth, they were sailing routes only locals or seasoned smugglers would dare take. Narrow passages between reefs, channels invisible on standard charts. These were the pirate highways, visible to outsiders, yet safer to them than open water. Picture this: the moon is hidden behind clouds. The sea is black as ink, and the sound of waves crashing against rocks grows louder. No sane captain would steer into such waters. Yet, pirates did, trusting their memory of every shoal and sandbank. Pursuers, terrified of wrecking their ships, would break off the chase. To the pirates, it was not just bravery, it was strategy, rehearsed and deliberate. The sea itself became their accomplice. Another layer of deception lay in false signals. Pirates sometimes lit lanterns in patterns that mimicked coastal villages or lighthouses. Imagine being a Navy ship in pursuit, straining your eyes in the dark and suddenly spotting what seems like safe harbor lights ahead. You adjust course, only to discover you've been lured toward shallow waters where your large vessel risks grounding. Meanwhile, the pirate slips away into the night. Light, a simple flame on a mast, could reshape the battlefield without firing a single shot. And then there was disguise. Not every pirate ship looked like the terrifying monsters Hollywood imagines. In fact, many were deliberately plain, even shabby, so they could pass as humble traders until it was too late. Pursuers sometimes gave up the chase, thinking they'd lost their target, when in fact the pirate was right under their nose. Sails lowered, blending with ordinary traffic. In crowded seas, the ability to vanish into anonymity was priceless. But let's take a step deeper. Pirates also manipulated time itself. They understood the daily rhythms of wind and current better than most naval captains. For example, they might provoke a chase in the afternoon when the wind favored smaller, lighter ships. Then lead their enemies into areas where currents turned against them. By dawn, the pursuers would be exhausted, stuck, and demoralized, while the pirates sailed effortlessly ahead. The sea was like a giant living clock, and they knew how to turn its hands to their advantage. Some of the most fascinating tricks involved decoys. Pirates occasionally captured small fishing boats or coastal vessels, then released them deliberately in view of their pursuers. Sails rigged to look like the main pirate ship. The Navy, eager for an easy capture, would chase the decoy, wasting precious hours, while the real pirates vanished in the opposite direction. It was a game of shadows, where nothing was quite what it seemed. But deception at sea was not only about survival, it was psychological. Imagine the frustration of a naval officer who, after days of relentless chase, finds himself tricked again and again by opponents with fewer resources and inferior firepower. Pirates thrived on this imbalance. They spread rumors of being able to summon storms or of possessing uncanny knowledge of the sea. The more the Navy failed to catch them, the stronger the legend grew. Fear itself became another navigational tool. At this point, you might wonder, how did they learn all these tricks? After all, pirates were not trained in naval academies. The truth lies in their origins. Many had been sailors, fishermen, or smugglers before turning to piracy. They knew local waters intimately, far better than the distant admirals commanding warships. A pirate captain might recall every hidden inlet of the Bahamas, every current off Jamaica, every uncharted sandbar along the Florida coast. This knowledge, passed orally among crews, was a weapon more powerful than gunpowder. There is also an element of philosophy in this. The pirates' tricks remind us that intelligence often beats brute force. The largest ships, with their towering masts and dozens of cannons, seemed invincible. But what good was raw power if it could be outmaneuvered by cunning? This is a lesson that echoes far beyond the seas. Sometimes victory belongs not to the strongest, but to the cleverest, to those who think sideways rather than straight ahead. One story tells of pirates pursued by a Spanish galleon. Outmatched in speed and firepower, they pretended to give up, lowering their sails as if their ship had been crippled. The galleon approached for the kill, confident of easy prey. At the last moment, the pirates unfurled hidden sails, catching a sudden gust of wind from a direction the galleon could not use. In moments, they slipped away, leaving their pursuers stunned. It was theater as much as seamanship, a performance designed to manipulate expectations. Another tale involves pirates using weather itself. They would sometimes sail deliberately into storms, counting on their smaller, more agile ships to survive conditions that larger warships could not risk. Imagine the terror of watching your quarry vanish into a wall of rain and thunder, knowing you cannot follow. Did they survive? Did they drown? The uncertainty was part of the trick. By gambling on chaos, pirates gained freedom. Not every trick succeeded. Some pirates miscalculated, and their own ships wrecked on the reefs they trusted. Others tried disguises, but were exposed before they could strike. Yet even in failure, the sheer audacity of these methods built their legend. Chasing pirates became a battle not only of ships, but of minds. If we step back and analyze, what do these tricks reveal about human nature? Perhaps that survival often demands creativity under pressure. Pirates lived on the edge, hunted relentlessly, and so they innovated constantly. Their deceptions were born of necessity. They had no safe ports, no powerful governments to shield them. Their greatest ally was imagination, and their battleground was the vast, shifting sea. There is a paradox here too. Pirates are remembered as brutal, violent criminals, yet their legacy includes some of the most ingenious navigation methods of their time. History often glorifies admirals and explorers, but it was pirates who pushed the boundaries of unconventional thinking. They remind us that wisdom can emerge even from outlaw lives. That brilliance is not limited to those society deems respectable. As we near the end of this voyage, consider this. When we picture pirates, we think of swords, treasure, and black flags. But perhaps their real treasure was knowledge, the ability to bend the sea, the stars, and the fears of their enemies into weapons. Deception was their compass. Trickery was their map. And through these arts, they turned the vast ocean into a stage for survival. So next time you imagine a naval chase across the Caribbean, don't just think of cannon fire and sails billowing in the wind. Picture the invisible battle of wits, the lantern signals, the sudden turns into uncharted waters, the decoys slipping away. That is where the true drama unfolded, where cunning decided fates more often than firepower. Pirates were not only outlaws, They were illusionists of the sea. And maybe, just maybe, their greatest trick was convincing the world that they were simple brutes, when in fact they were masters of a subtle art that few today can even imagine. Deception was their legacy, and it kept them alive in a world determined to hunt them down. Thank you for sailing with me through these forgotten waters. If you want more stories like this, subscribe now, because the sea still holds countless secrets waiting to be uncovered.